start reading Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Look at these pictures. Hanged man, a ghost, and the pirates looking suppose, and described as lonely, had chosen